Hi, my name's Albert Haedinger. Brothers and sisters know me as TechBot as well, down south. As you might know, I've been charged with assault, and on the police officer, and just serious bodily injury, which is very extreme because I was trying to run for my own health and safety out of a bathroom where I was kind of feeling like I was in my own house, as a guest. But charges were brought up, and my family members and a lot of friends were saying, that's behind you when I was wrongfully convicted, and not to worry about that and to move forward with my life. So now this has come up. They've actually drawn this up from 18 years ago to use against me as strikes. So now I must fight it all the way to the end, and I must prove my innocence on this, and that's what I will do with this short segment, and then with the segments to come. With a paper on the internet, they've put everything out there where they had put the armed robbery and all of the charges out there. When before, you would have to pay to do a national background check in order to see all of this. So now, since this incident where I was brutalized, now these charges are being brought back up that I'm innocent of. And with this type of time, 44 months. Let me say that 44 months. Can you see the with 44 months, 44 to 62 months for armed robbery in the state of North Carolina with this many charges is way too little time. Anyone who does charges knows that. And that's way too little a time, because one armed robbery charge with a dangerous weapon carries a sentence of 7 years. Another thing to notice is that I gave notice of appeal right away, because this was in 1996 when I had asked for all of my transcripts, all of them. And I can also show you right here. Here's the paper where, let me see. This is June 20th, 1996. So with that type of time for those type of charges, there's no reason for me to ask for all of my transcripts unless I'm totally innocent. Because if I had got 1, 2, 3, even 4 charges dropped on that case, where all of those charges were pinned onto me at the same time, it would have done little or nothing to the time. So that's why I have these papers. Then as to kidnapping, where it says kidnapping, there was kidnapping. I want to show that the names on here was Gina Duncan is the woman who was kidnapped, and John Henry Duncan was the man who was kidnapped. Gina Duncan was 28 years at that time. So everyone who I've emailed this to, that's why I underlined the age, so that you would be able to see that they were not kids. It was adult napping, or they say that you move someone 3 feet beyond their will. That is kidnapping in that state. So here's John Henry Duncan. John Henry Duncan was 22 years of age. You can see that here on the other side. See where it's underlined? Right there, 22. And so he was 22 years of age, and so you know that he was not a child. So this makes like an instant demonization, and with these charges, it's the same parallel as Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction. So they go after him and there's nothing there. So it's a demonization tactic. So I really don't like that when people try to demonize someone with things that they don't know if they're innocent of, to use that to say, oh, well, look, he has charges, so he must be bad. So we beat him because he was bad. When they assaulted me in the bathroom, they had no prior knowledge of the charges while I was giving them my ID, trying to talk to them, in a civilized manner. I've also done security before as a liaison, with at the state capitol with the law enforcement over there during the Native Day, that's held every year there. And mainly when you're trying to just go to the bathroom, in your own house, just picture that, you want to just go to the bathroom and you just want to go back to sleep, and mainly just, go back to your ceremony or what you have planned for the next day. I'm sure you wouldn't have any intention of wanting to start something up. But mainly I really need to focus on North Carolina. So I hope that you will look into the rest of my case, where the times that I had underlined, the times proved my innocence. And I want everyone to look into the statement of the facts. That's the main thing, is when you read this, if you go on into the statement of the case, feel free to read everything, but the statement of the facts is the main thing, where it talks about how the two people were robbed. I don't have time right now to go into it because I want to try to keep it as brief as possible. But it says on this there in court, each defendant gave notice, to the Court of Appeals. So it gave notice that we had wanted an appeal. And then the key points I have underlined. So pay attention on the underlining. It's the Duncans. Neither of the Duncans saw a car with either one of the robbers in it. So that's very important, because the two individuals walked away. That's why I have that underlined as well. And so this detective who had railroaded me, and back then I didn't think that they were distrustful or dishonest, because I was in the military. And I had no idea that they would do crooked things like this to people. But the times when the ATM card where the Duncans were robbed, it shows 11:30, 11:33, and 11:33 hours again. So this is the time on their ATM card when, if you go back up top, Miss Duncan tried. She couldn't work the machine, so no money was obtained. So that's why they had demanded wedding rings and things of that nature. But this was the times on the ATM card. So now the detective goes down to the Texaco station on Strickland Bridge Road to view the tape that's inside of that store. And I'll keep this one on my lap so that you know I'm not fast talking on the times. So the detective went into the Texaco station, and Mr. Renew saw Mr. Caudillo walk into the station. That was my friend who had went in there while I was pumping the gas. The time reflected on the video at the Texaco station was 23:34, which is 11:34 and 33 seconds. The distance from the First Union Bank on Rayford Road, where the robbery occurred, to this Texaco station was approximately 2.5 miles. So let me show you the time again. 11:33, and then the final time was 11:33. Oh wow! And this is 11:34. So that's just 1 minute difference between both places. I was at the Texaco station. The robbers were at the First Union. And the detective even drives it. Detective Renew drove it and made it 3 minutes and made it 5 minutes, depending upon the traffic. So there's no way that we could be two places at one time. And this is what I'm trying to show. And then, I had consented to be photographed because I didn't feel that, there was anything that I had done wrong or that my friend had done wrong. So I had consented to go down there. But that's when I was framed. and they needed 2 Hispanics. So they just had pinned it on us, you know, as Hispanics. Then when I had got inside, behind the walls, they had wrote a 3 on my bag for Native. And that's a whole nother story. I just go over it real quickly. Also in my attachments, I had sent the letter that I had wrote to 2020, 60 Minutes, and 48 Hours to try to get some help on this case. But I'll just, this is also in the attachments. I was just saying, here's my honors from 1999, so that's like right after I had got out. That's one of them, to show I was in school, in college. Here's the next award certificate, which was given in 2002. And then these are all in the attachments. Then the next one is in 2007. That's another honors. And I'm showing you this so you know that I'm not running around robbing people or kidnapping now. That I have proved myself in society. And here's the most recent for the school was the January 2010 for this one. And then my progress report at work. Wow, let me flip this over. Oh, that's like a one-sided one. So it says right there, Albert, you are an asset to the support group. You always do your best at whatever you do. Keep up the good work. So even at my civil service state job, I'm not, how would you say, below average or anything like that nature at work. And here's the receipt of that letter from 2020, but they had said that they couldn't do the story for whatever reason. I think it was because it was a group. I was dealing with people who, this will be a whole nother issue, but I'm not going to go back on it. For all brothers and sisters out there that have 2 to 20 years, and a lot, like probably 2 to 15 years, where we can't get any help, where we've wrote to the Innocence Projects. Here's a paper where I had the habeas corpus, and then I also had the papers of the, let me see, where are those innocents? Trying to find a habeas corpus is almost nearly impossible a year after your appeal. And then when you ask the Innocence Projects, the civil rights, and the different organizations that are out there, everything, it's so hard because all that they deal with mainly, oh excuse me, I'll grab another paper. All that they mainly deal with first and foremost is death row first. So anyone who's experienced what I have gone through, and then other people that are behind the walls, you know, I hope that you can get some type of help, because I know that they only deal with death row first, and then they deal with life sentences after that. And it's just horrible, you know. It's like, so I did write the, you know, the North Carolina Center on Actual Innocence, and I had asked them to help, along with other innocent organizations. I had also sent a copy of my transcript to you all, because I really wanted both tapes. When I was talking about the Texaco station, it says, you know, that I would be able to say some words. Defendant Haedinger, Your Honor, when Detective Renew showed my BC and my unit, he said that they have a tape of me. So automatically the Army looked at me as being guilty. I still got an honorable discharge, but I would like to see the tape too. This is very important because he came in a demonizing way. He said, we got a tape on him, you know. But yes, you do have a tape on me buying macaroni and cheese and a jug of milk. And I want to see the other tape because the other tape shows the robbers who are not me and my friend. So that's something that I still want to this day. I would like this tape. And what I'm going to show you in further segments is how the detective destroyed the tape. He said that he had viewed it constantly to where the tape was not fit to be shown to the jury. So it was not allowed. So that's obstruction of evidence. Then I also filed with the bar against my attorney, but I wanted to show you the rest of that. So they said they're not sure which tape I was referring to, but during the whole course of this miscarriage of justice, where I was wrongfully convicted, they stayed away from the times, they stayed away from the tape, and I'm going to show that, to you all in further segments. And even right here, I said it's not right. So these were my last words before I was wrongfully convicted and taken away. It's not right. And then the judge says, "Thank you, son." Deep south. So my friend Richard Caldillo, this is what he says. So they say the same thing. Under structured sentencing, you're pretty much limited. So this is what my friend says. I would like to say I'm innocent, and I'll say it until the day that I die. So this is just a brief summary of, this is my statement of appeal. This is what has the facts on it with the times, and this is what I want to present again. If I could just get the chance. If anyone's out there, like pro bono or anything, Innocence Projects, anyone, that can help, I would greatly appreciate it, to get this off of my record. Because if I'm trying to get a promotion or get a job or just anything, it's like instant demonization now. The way that these charges were put up there underneath my name with the incident that had recently happened at Berkeley. It's something that I must do now. So any help, would greatly be appreciated. And,